Good evening and welcome to Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation. It is Monday night once again, and I am your host, Donna Gray Banks. And my special guest today is Uli Schackmann, and she is the author of Uli's Journey, Angels Along the Way. And she is a Florida-based author, and she is coming to the Fresh Book Festival. Thank you very much for deciding to be with us tonight and to join us at the Fresh Book Festival. We're really excited to hear about your journey. Now, I didn't tell you that we put all our authors on the spot. So when you're there, you will get a 15-minute interview on stage. So be ready for that when you come in February. Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation is brought to you by Eilish Diamonds LLC, Lee's Press, Milton McCulloch, author of Love and Emancipation, a Dante production, who put on their last show last night. Amazing. David Sylvester, you blew the house away. Thank you so, so much. And the Fresh Book Festival, which will be held in the beautiful city of Daytona Beach, which is February 22, 23, 24, and the beautiful year of 2024. So we are so looking forward to our 13th year. All the authors that were there for the first, there were 13 authors in the beginning. They are all coming back to tell their stories, and we are looking forward to that. If you have any questions for Uli, please leave them in the chat room. And this conversation is being recorded. Good evening, Uli. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for registering to be with us. We're so excited about you coming. And we just want you to give us a brief background.
Brief background. First of all, today is Indigenous Peoples Day.
It is indeed.
My red bandana. In honor of all Indigenous people, I have my little sacred fan here to give blessing, gratitude to all my relations. Aho.
Yes.
A bit about me. I grew up in Germany. So that little accent is not a South Florida accent.
It's not South Florida.
Germany. And I came to America in 1986. And made America my home and became a citizen in 2007.
Was there a reason why you decided to come to America? Was it something specific, or you just ready to leave, right?
Okay. It's either love or money that will get you moving.
Okay. That's so I understand that.
Yeah. So I was young and I came over here and I moved to San Francisco, New England, and then made Florida my home. I also would like to introduce my little fellow partner.
Please, yes.
Yeah, he is part of that journey in the book, which is.
Can we see him?
I don't know. Let's see if I can take the. No.
No. Okay.
No,
maybe if he wakes up, you can put him in your arms at the end of the show.
We'll do that. He has been adopted when he was 8 or 9 months old. And he is a little Cuban boy. I tell everybody I have a son with 4 legs.
And he took that whole journey with you, right?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. And when you decided to, why did you decide to settle in Florida? Now, you've been to every state. Why was Florida the place?
To move to after
and to settle.
lived in New England. Just circumstances in life.
Yeah.
I found, reflecting now on my life, I always have been very open and flexible to the opportunities that came in my life to follow that.
Absolutely.
And so
and then one morning you woke up and said, I'm going to take a bike ride from Alaska to Florida. Tell us about how that all started.
That is many, many years after, but yes, I got to a point where I felt I needed a change. And so that was personal, but then also I've been participating in local AIDS fundraising bicycle rides, mostly local in Florida, but some were also in other states. And I did see the impact AIDS had on individuals, but also in different communities or in the communities and also worldwide, how people are affected. And I wanted to take something on that was greater than myself, but also challenging me physically, emotionally, and then also challenging me to go out in the communities and talk to people about the stigma of AIDS, the impact of AIDS. And then I decided I would go. I rented out my condo. I sold my new car, quit my job, and took off. And it was the most freeing experience and the most growing experience. And it was just a very powerful experience that I had physically and emotionally.
Listen, but let everybody know that you didn't wake up and just decide to do this. You were a trained bike rider. Right?
No, I trained in Florida for the bike journey. I trained in Florida.
Okay.
I was in Boynton Beach and I rode around a circle with cans in my saddlebags, of paint cans in my saddlebag, books and Jackson. So I loaded my bike up with some items from the house and I trained. But when I got to Alaska, as soon as I left the house, I'd start climbing up because I got closer and closer to the National Park. And I was just uphill for the longest time. And I was really doubting, questioning myself right on the beginning.
And what got you through that? I mean, just that because there had to be a pivotal point where you said, you know what, this is craziest thing I've ever thought of. Let me turn around and go back. What was it that kept you going?
A couple of things. One thing, I have been very blessed with determination.
Yeah.
So I have a double dose of that. Yeah. So that really got me through. Then also looking at the right and comparing it to my life and to the life to people who are living with HIV/AIDS, cancer, depression, how they must
fight through it,
experience life, and what gives them hope to get going. So that gave me hope to continue and believe in the journey and believe in my mission, because I was writing for a vision that I had, that by 2020 we would have a cure for AIDS. And it was a powerful vision to stand in.
It was, right.
It's out of my realm. I have nothing to do with it. There are scientists working on that for a long time, but I stood in that powerful vision.
Yeah, you stood in the gap to make it, put a spotlight on it, right? Which is very, very important. Right. Now, I read in one of your many articles that you had 3 experiences. So I want you to talk about the snow, the bears, and the birthday party that you had along your journey.
Oh, do we have enough time?
Yeah, sure. We are only here 45 minutes.
So the snow was, it was cold. It was really cold. I was scared. Some part in Alaska, the main road was cleared, but the side roads were still snow on it. I had no Wi-Fi after a couple of days, not Wi-Fi, electricity. So my battery was drained and I kept the last little juice or bar I had for emergency.
Right.
In Canada, I had no Wi-Fi. So it was really buying maps, going to a hotel, get Wi-Fi, plan my route out, and then go on the route and experience whatever is happening out there. The bear story, I bumped into several bears. The closest, most dangerous was a grizzly bear, and that's actually how the book starts. When I bumped into a grizzly bear and I just ride up a little hill, or pushed up, I could not ride any hills. It was too heavy, the bike. It's over 255 pounds. And in front of me is a huge bear butt with a little cub on the right-hand side. And then as he moved forward and up into the brush, I saw there were a second cub, and it was a grizzly. And when I looked at my watch, it was already late. It doesn't get dark till after 11:30, towards 12 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, I haven't found a place yet. There's nowhere to sleep. And I hitchhiked out. So I found somebody, an angel.
Yes.
Get me out of there, because they traveled.
You're calling this bear a Christie bear? What is
Grizzly.
Is it like the most dangerous? Well, all the
They
All of
can
them are
be very
dangerous.
aggressive, but it was in May, so they
Hmm.
just got out of hibernation. I was told they are very constipated and they are very hungry and aggressive when they wake up. So I did not want to end up as a little,
Exactly. For lunch.
Yeah, right. So it was a little too close for comfort.
And were you prepared for all the snow, really? I mean,
no, you can't. It's like preparing for life. You get one chance at life and you manage your life. And I looked at my journey as a journey of, how can you prepare? This is what it is. My classes broke. I encountered a cougar, rattlesnakes. I mean, you have to deal with what is on the road. And that's the same with life.
And then somebody threw you a birthday party. That is amazing. These people that you didn't, yeah.
Totally not know. And it was so amazing. The whole book is about HIV/AIDS and the impact, but also and how it affected the people that I interview, but also the kindness of people. And what I experience is the majority is the kindness of the people. In general, people are kind and they do want to make a difference.
It's that old saying, I've always lived my life on the kindness of strangers. Is that
yeah, this is, and you could.
Yeah.
You could live like this, but we're so over domesticated and we're so packed in this. We have to look professional, climb the ladder, do this and be, push everybody out of the way. And it's me, to be successful. And what I experienced is just something very different because I was so vulnerable on the road.
Oh, absolutely.
Was my bicycle and my couple of saddlebags and Jackson. And with nothing out in the wild in, unexpected territory and dealing with situation and experiencing real intimate connection, intimate as in connecting from the heart.
Right.
Exactly. The sharing was so unbelievable from people. And I met this couple on a ferry. Where did I go? Minnesota, Wisconsin. I took a ferry over, and while we were on the boat, we start talking. These are Jackson. Jackson was always a good point to connect.
Conversation, yeah. Conversation piece.
Yes, and their dog looked like Jackson, which just recently passed. So they showed me the picture. And immediately were drawn to Jackson.
Connection, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And they told me, when you come to Rapid City, you will be our guest. So I made it over there. I stayed for the night. And of course, then they asked me at night, what time do you want to leave tomorrow? And I was like, tomorrow is my birthday. No worry, you stay. So I woke up. He had a little birthday cake with some candles, a little birthday banner in the kitchen now. So when I got up, they were there. I was Tom, his wife, Gwen, and their daughter, Erica, and they sang me happy birthday. And then for dinner, they took me out for just birthday dinner.
That's amazing.
I mean, if I start talking about all these people, I'd be sitting and crying here because it's just so powerful and inspiring, and you start believing again in the goodness of people.
I've read somewhere that you were, I guess this is the bear situation, where Jackson did not bark.
No, he doesn't. He's amazing. He's the most amazing companion and travel companion. I just did this and he was quiet. I have a picture of him where he's on a little mound and behind him are some elks. Just sitting there and watching and, oh, it's okay. But no sound, no, nothing. Thanks goodness, otherwise we would be dead.
Yes, you would be dead. You would be dead. I thought, that is amazing.
Yeah,
because it's a dog's instinct to protect, right? And you all have that kind of kindred connection.
Totally.
That you asked him to be quiet, and he did.
Yes.
I thought that was amazing.
Oh, he's well behaved. I take him everywhere I go.
I mean, I've had a couple of dogs in my lifetime, but all they did want to do was bite people. So that when but you have to spend that kind of time with a person. You can't become kindred spirits if you're not connected, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
it just happens to be an animal.
right.
That's amazing.
It's a spirit too. It's a four-legged spirit. It's
yeah.
Yes.
And when I read it, I thought, oh, my father's name is Jackson.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, he had such a kindred spirit with animals. I mean, just, you know, birds would fly on him and sit on his shoulder, and squirrels would eat out of his hand. I mean, he was just that kind of guy, right? And that just reminded me of my dad when I found out your dog.
That's a very special soul, your dad.
It really is. It
very
really
special
is.
soul.
So when you decided to write the book, where did you write it? I mean, did you write it in the morning? Did you write it in the evening? How did you put that off? That's a lot of stuff, right? That you had to kind of condense because you couldn't put in everything.
Right.
So how did you put that all together? And where did you do that?
I may disappoint you.
Okay.
I dance to my own music and I write to my own time. There's no preferred time.
Okay.
There's spirit or the great spirit that's guiding me. If I feel there is something that needs to be written down, I write it down. Right now, I'm actually working on a second book. And my best.
That was one of the questions. I knew there had to be.
That's coming up.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
I get the information when I walk in nature. I am still connecting to spirit out there, and I get what needs to be in the book. I go home, I take notes. And I did the same with this one. I had a lot of notes from the people that I encountered, and I took a lot of pictures. So from that, I created a book. The first time I started to write was after many people told me, you have so many stories. So we had dinner parties or get-togethers, and I would tell my stories, and you would say, oh my God, these are great stories. You have to write a book about it. So that's when I sat down, started put it all together. It started off as a diary where I went from the first day to the last. I did get an editor. English is my second language, so I didn't want.
It's my first language, and we all still need editors.
I didn't want people to sit there with the English dictionary, like, what did she say? So I got an editor, and they structured it a little bit more, where we have the bear first, and then walk through the journey. And I think I'm very pleased with the outcome of the book.
And so you longhand first, still?
Some notes were longhand, some were on my iPhone, and then on a note, and then my post. So I went back and forth and took all the information I had, and I developed the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the book. Do you have a copy that you could show us? I meant to ask you to have one available.
I had it right here. How convenient.
Okay. Uli's journey. Yeah. Angels along the way. Wow.
Right.
So in the book, do you actually interview people who have HIV?
I did, and I did. Okay. I posted on YouTube. I asked for their permission if I could interview them, and I asked them if they feel there's still the same stigma that was way back then. Some did, obviously not as much as it was way back then when it came out, and it was the gay cancer, and it was very stigmatized towards the gay community before people got to understand that it doesn't discriminate against just gay,
not at all.
Affects everybody in every country. There's nobody safe from it. So yeah, I did interview them, and I also had the big red flag, the flag on my bicycle with the red ribbon. Nice. So I had the ribbons with me, and those who lost a loved one, a family member, a friend, or somebody who was affected by HIV, I asked them if they want to leave a red ribbon for them, and they did. And we pinned it on the bike, and I videotaped this. And then, when I left, they all patted me on the shoulder and said, please drive careful. And I said, yeah, you're more concerned about your loved one. So, yeah, it was an amazing experience to have this deep connections and exchange with people.
When I was in that community of HIV and trying to help people navigate the system. Because at that time, getting help and all that was just really, really hard. And a lot of Black males didn't even want to go pick up their medication because the people would, immediately say, well, you got to be gay, you got to be that. And a couple of the guys were from Jamaica. And even if they were gay, they didn't really want anybody to know, right?
Right.
So I really I had to work hard to get permission from the state to go pick up their medication at the health department.
Right.
And make sure that they had it. And at that time they were giving them what was a drink? I forget the name.
Oh, the cocktail.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then they had to go get it themselves. They couldn't, when we started, it was just the pills, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's really something you have to navigate and come to grips with. I mean, I feel like now it's in our state, I don't know about other states, but probably some other states, it's like having to consider abortion. Again, here we are, 30 years later, 50 years later, right? And these poor women are under a stigma of trying to decide what's better for their life, right? And one of the things that it's in the Planned Parenthood and in the place where we used to go pick up medication, it said, the big sign said, the life you save may be your own, which I thought was very poignant when you're coming into a place like that to say, okay, we know that you are going through it, but this is for your life.
Yeah.
Right? Not for the people's lives outside with the pickets and all that. This is for your life. And so, my hat's off to you, because that is just navigating that whole system is really.
Well, I feel for those who, had to go through trials and trying different medications, side effects, seeing all their friends. I have friends, they lost 80-90% of their circle of friends. I mean, the whole friendship community is gone.
Right. It was amazing.
And I think fear of, do I have it? Am I affected? Not knowing. And then you get diagnosed and you have it, and then you walk through it. And thanks goodness the medication has changed. Thanks goodness people are getting more and more educated, and the stigma is not as bad as it was. But yeah, many have survived this and are still here. And
still here, right, exactly. So anyway, hats off to you for that. Let's talk about your publishing experience. So you decided to self-publish, or?
Yes, I went with a publisher, but it's self-publishing. It's the River Press, Middle River Press in
Magic?
Middle River Press. It's a husband and wife, Judy and Bruce Borish, and they were absolutely wonderful to work with. They put the book together. We picked the paper. We got it, the layout, everything, and it just came out very pleasing. I'm very happy with the outcome, and they were easy to work with.
And tell me about the cover. Is the house in the foreground, does it have a meaning, or that was just part of the picture?
The hand?
Well, no, the house.
The house in the foreground.
In the background, sorry, in the background.
I don't see a house. The way it started off.
Let me see the cover.
It's just an empty road.
Is that the only cover you have?
Yeah, that's the only cover I have.
Oh, I thought there was.
We had a different cover by the publisher. They designed it, and it was a picture of me in Jackson with my bike gear.
Okay.
And I didn't want that on the cover. And I told them the book is not about me. It's about my journey for a cure for AIDS. I want a empty road.
Is that your hand?
It's the bicycle clasp. It's a bicycle clasp to indicate it's a bicyclist and an empty road writing for the Red Ribbon for AIDS. So I told him what I wanted, and he designed it.
And so how many renditions did you have?
For the cover?
Yes.
2. Well, 3, actually. The hand was a little bit too big, and I didn't like it. It was like this, so we made it smaller and more together. And number 3 was a charm. I liked it.
Do you know how many people go through 5, 10 covers because they just, they just can't seem to get their graphic artist to get it right.
Wow.
But once you know it, once you see it,
yeah,
it's there, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned your fear of traveling as a member of the LGBTQ, the 2 other letters, I'm not sure what they are.
Right.
Community. Why did you have that fear? And why would you think somebody would know? Right.
Well, because of the way I look.
Okay.
I had pre-cancer, so I had top surgery. My breasts are gone, have been removed. So I'm flat-chested, and with my little figure, I could look like a little boy or boyish, and not like a lady.
Yeah.
So that's one. And the climate, the political climate at the time, 2017, was very hateful. Not that it has changed much, but being out on the road and going through some very hateful communities and states was scary. And I have encountered one specific event where I had dinner, and we had a whole table full of men with their red caps on it, their red baseball caps. And to me, coming from Germany, it's a symbol of intimidation and hate.
Yes.
And the German used the same thing, and they used the different symbol.
Right.
But it's a symbol
it's red.
to intimidate and to hate, to show you we hate you. And they talk very negatively about the gay community, African Americans, immigrants. And I mean, my knees were shaking under the table. And I got up and I went over to the table and I told them, and I said, you talk about me. I'm an immigrant, and I'm not here to take anything from you. I worked for everything and I have. And when I walked out, I felt pretty good. My head was really high.
Empire.
Yeah, my knees were shaking underneath, and I was hoping they would get me out.
But you didn't come across too much.
No, very little.
Very little.
Yeah, these redheads just set me back into Germany with the symbolism and the hate speeches that have been all over. The worst was when I was in South Carolina, no, Virginia, West Virginia. I was in West Virginia, just outside of Charlottesville. So I arrived there.
Oh, Charlottesville.
I had to go to town to get dog food, and I called for a taxi when I checked into the hotel, and the energy in that town was so thick. I mean, it was so hateful, and I was crying and didn't really know what's happening. I just felt hate.
The energy changed. The energy.
Oh my Lord, it was so awful.
Yes.
And I went to the hotel, I had my food, I turned on the TV to see what is the weather. Do I make it to the next day? And what's happening in the world? And I saw what's happening. And I just broke down and started crying.
I mean, you just
understood what happened in town, why people were so mad and hateful and angry.
Yeah, I can imagine, when people say that the air in the room shifted.
Oh, it shifted.
Right? Yeah. And you don't have to be an empath to feel that. You just feel it. You just sense it, right away.
Happening. Yeah.
But I guess the point that I was trying to get to was that you were so fearful of being in the LGBTQ community and being a woman who had cancer, and that probably was the least of your
I'm not sure why
at
you
the
say
end.
I wasn't fearful of being gay and in my gay community. I was more afraid of being in that, experiencing these communities and being outed as gay. I did approach and talk to them, and I talked about cancer. I did not talk about gay or in those situations, or AIDS, because for them AIDS is still connected and it's still a stigma for gays. And so I didn't want to cause any more trouble than, you know, I already would face without adding gayness and AIDS to it. So
Well,
I did
a lot of people
share.
don't even understand that, you know, when Arthur Ashe got HIV, that was from a blood transfusion. So we had tons of people die because the technology didn't understand that it was actually in the blood that people were giving away at mobile units, right?
Yeah.
And
Body
so,
fluids.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, now it's a gay thing. But technology, really, from the beginning, people were dying just because they were having blood transfusions. They weren't gay, they weren't anything. They just didn't know that that's how it was being transmitted. And then,
a young kid who went to the dentist.
Right.
And burnt down his home because that young child had
couldn't go to school. And
Right.
so people forget about all those other circumstances.
Yeah.
They just want to spotlight one thing. But it is. And I looked up the number. It still had 630,000, right?
Oh, the
People.
numbers are still of infection, of HIV infection, are very high.
Yes.
And worldwide, it's even, I mean, it's staggering. And
And
you have people all on medication. Thanks goodness we do have it, but no cure so far.
And can you tell the people who are maybe not as knowledgeable, what exactly is it? Is it autoimmune disease?
Oh
Is it
boy,
a
now you're
blood
putting me on
disease?
the star,
I just
autoimmune disease. Yes.
yes.
You could, from what I understand, I'm not an expert. My thing is I'm committed to make a difference in that community. That doesn't make me an expert. But yes, an autoimmune deficiency, a disease, I don't know the exact wording for it. And when your levels are so low, you could die of a cold. You could have a kidney disease, and because your T levels are so low that could cause you to die. There's nothing that could fight. We have a resistance, and those who are affected by AIDS or HIV don't have that. And that's why they're on medication to boost their T cells, so they can fight a cold, they can fight whatever it is. And that's why it was so dangerous for them to go with the COVID pandemic we had. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
Yeah, it wiped them out.
Yeah.
I mean, it wiped out a whole lot of people anyway. So just if you're autoimmune disease, if you were deficiency, then you didn't stand a chance. And that's another thing we didn't know. It was here, but nobody really knew how to treat it.
Yeah.
And then by the time we found out how to treat it, we had lost hundreds and thousands of people. So yeah, it's amazing. So let me ask you this. The second book, you said that you were going to be working on the second book. Is that part of the same journey, or is it something different?
It's a part of, and it goes on to something that's new. And it has to do something with indigenous people.
Really?
Yeah.
So where's your connection to indigenous people, or is there none?
There's a connection.
Okay.
Yes. And I have been very blessed to be introduced. And had the honor to being sharing sacred dances and songs and medicine and drumming circles, and so that's powerful, and will be in the book, that whole journey, which is not a bicycle journey, but it's a deep
Another journey.
journey. Yeah,
It's
totally.
another journey.
Yeah.
So I have dream catchers throughout my house, and I don't think I did enough research, but do you know anything about exactly what a dream catcher is?
Not really, but it's said that your good dreams go through and the bad dreams stay in the net, in the catcher.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry the next day.
Right, exactly. I had someone get in my car and say, well, that's kind of, I don't know, something evil or whatever. And I was thinking, anything that you are spiritually connected to that makes you feel good,
use it.
you know, you got to keep that in your life,
Yeah,
no matter
right.
no matter what other people think about it.
Right.
So today, talking about indigenous people, I went to the bank and the bank was closed. I was mortified.
Yeah.
That the bank was closed celebrating Columbus Day. I just thought we had gotten way past that, but I guess we have not. So,
but I thought it's not Columbus Day anymore. It's Indigenous Peoples Day.
Well, that's not what it said on the door. Now, I had that sit there. If that's what they had said on the door, I probably would have been got a lot better about it. But it's still Columbus Day, and I thought, wow, somebody didn't get the memo on that. So, Are you going to go with Middle River Press for your second book?
If I could work with them again, I certainly would. It was very easy. They got my vision, they got what I wanted, and it was easy to communicate and work with them, yes.
And when are we looking for? Are you going to have that by the book festival?
Spirit is telling me.
So you're not going to put a date stamp on it? Okay.
No. Okay. I will work with, when it's coming, it's coming. If not, it's not coming. There was a hard lesson for me to learn. I learned a little bit on the right, and also with the community I'm with. And in Germany, everything is on time. So if they say 10 o'clock, the train leaves, 10 o'clock, the train leaves. If they say they arrive at 10 or 10, at 10 or 10, you're on the other side where you have to go. And being in that community, when they say we meet, or the dance start, or the sweat lodge start, nobody's there but me, and I'm ready to go and rock and roll. And it's like, what's wrong with these people? I mean, they couldn't survive in Germany. I said, chill, Uli, relax. So I really had to learn to let go, soften, and allow things to happen.
Yeah,
it will happen, and it will happen in time.
Yeah, I get told that I have to want all the control, and really, you have no control, right? So really, it's hard.
Really don't. Well, you do.
I mean, some.
If you start to, that's my experience, and it may not be the truth, is if you surrender,
right,
you're flexible in life, then life isn't an obstacle. It's not hard. You flow in life.
Yes.
And when you think you're in charge, you have to control. The way I was before, it was hard. It was hard for me because I was in control, and I had to manage this, and I had to do this, and it has to look a certain way. And I thought, oh my God, what a headache. And of course, you get plugs. This one didn't finish the job, so you have to wait an extra day, but it had to be done an hour ago. This one is not done. This one has a delay. Now you have to wait, and what stress?
Yes.
And I get there are certain things, obviously, you want to have on time.
Right.
You can't just go, oh my God, I'm going, I put my feet up now. That's what Spirit calls me for. So you do your
Spirit said I'm done for the day.
Yeah, right. No, that's not how it works. But you start relaxing a little bit. You know, be a little bit more flexible. You think you want to go to the right? Well, there's somebody on a ferry who invites you for a birthday, you know, to stay and have dinner. It's like, well, sure, I'm going. I stay an extra day.
I tell my 30-year-old son, I said, there's nothing wrong with a reset.
Right.
Because a reset is a setup for something better.
Right.
I mean,
and it's never too late.
It's never too late. Right.
Yeah.
It's never too late. And so I really am trying to not pour into him all of my idiosyncrasies about time and having to do the things, because really we have no control over the time we have on this planet. Right.
Yeah.
So we can only control what we can control. And it's not a whole lot.
Right.
So like you, just kind of enjoy the ride.
And we don't. It's a hard lesson, especially for our cultures and especially the Germans. It's hard to let go because you feel like you're losing something that you had control over, and suddenly you don't. And when you don't, oh my God, it's so freeing.
It is.
You know, and you're like, wow, this feels good.
I know. When I first retired, I thought, you know, I used to have to plan the day that I go to the beach, right? Because, you know, you're working all the time. Yeah. And now when I get up and think, let me see, what day am I going to go to the beach? Well, you know, it's crazy. You can go to the beach anytime you want. Know, you're so ingrained about time and what you have to do. It really takes a moment. And thank you for that, because a lot of us really forget that universally we really just need to keep in touch, right? And let life happen. So tell the audience how to get a copy of your book.
Well, one is on my website, which is Uli Journey. I don't know if you can see. Whoops. No.
Yeah. Come on. Try it again.
Come on. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Journey.
.org.
That's the best way. And then also through Amazon.
Okay. And so you can buy it directly from your website?
Yes.
Okay. And what's next? I know you're going to write a book, but what else? Anything else?
I don't know.
You got this vision board? A vision board that you have things on that you would like to do?
Well, no, but I can leave your audience with if they have a dream, a vision, to hold on, not just hold it on, but share it. Share it with your friends and family, because then you build up your enthusiasm. If you feel enthusiasm, you feel that shift of, you know, there's something, this is alive inside it. And when you share it with us, they can get excited. And don't allow others, when they say no, to be your no.
Right. Get to yes.
And leave. It's okay. It's their experience. You don't have to have an argument with them.
Yeah.
It's their no. And it's okay when they say no. Don't do this. Too dangerous. You know, oh no, this is crazy. It's your life. You choose. You feel your enthusiasm. Go with it, you know. And
that
trust
is wonderful. Yeah. Share it.
Yeah. And don't let other people's fears stand in you.
Right. Ladies, do you have any questions for Uli before we go? There was something in the chat room about my rant on Columbus Day. Let's see. Oh, today is considered 3 national days. F.R.E.S.H. That's the guy who was in Alaska. Indigenous People Day and Columbus Day. Is Tony F.R.E.S.H. was the guy who put the flag on top of?
Yeah, according to my research when I was doing for my national days today. Yeah.
Okay. He's the one who put the flag down. He's the black guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we have 3 days in one now.
Yes.
Oh, good.
For this day. And so I look so forward to meeting you in February. And maybe before. I have my my book is going to drop the 2nd week in November, and I may be at Barnes & Noble right there on US 1 in St. Augustine.
Oh, wonderful. Good.
Are you close by? Okay.
Yes, very close.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much for being 2 minutes?
Yes.
From, oh, good. Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to work that out. So we'll see if
Good.
that can happen. Thank you so much for being on Zoom.
Thank you for inviting me and having me for this interview, and also for inviting me to the F.R.E.S.H book fair in Daytona.
You are going to have so much fun. There's so many people. It's so diverse. It's in the knowledge. Would you say don't hold on to it? They don't hold on to it. They give you everything you want, you know? There's editors, there's graphic people, there are filmmakers, there's just so, yeah. And their knowledge that they spill it out. You don't have to take it from them. They just give it to you. And it's just amazing. When you talk about energy in a room, you walk in and there's a buzz that, oh my God, are these my people?
They're my people. Well,
I must feel it, my place.
It was a delight speaking with you.
Oh yeah, it was a pleasure. Very much a pleasure.
Thank you.
So good evening, everybody. And when the lights go out and the cell phone towers go down, all you have left is a flashlight and a good book. Thank you for being with us tonight. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.